It's time for Showtime, and we have Mahima Makwana, the star of Disney Plus Hotstar's new show, Showtime, with us. Hello and welcome, Mahima.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's such a beautiful introduction. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for giving us time. A spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the show, I think you should watch it before watching this conversation. But you play this feisty and honest film critic Mahika, as shown
Hmm.
in the trailer also, and she becomes this film producer.
Yeah.
Please tell us more about your character and the show.
So I'll start with the show. Showtime is based on the entertainment industry. And I have said this in a bunch of interviews in the past that yes, kuch khulase honge, there are some references, there are some actors slash superstars that you're gonna see and you'll be like, oh, do I have I seen this person? So yeah, there are some stories, there are some instances which our writers have picked up from. The foundation is definitely based on the entertainment industry, but the premise and the story is new. It's engaging, and I think the biggest challenge with a show like Showtime is to keep it gripping, to make sure that we keep our audiences on the edge of their seat because there is no action, there is no thriller, there is just drama and emotion. So Showtime is definitely about a take on entertainment industry from the producer's chair, the decisions that are being taken from that show. The
Entertainment
key
industry, you mean? Take on Bollywood.
Bollywood, for sure. Yeah, Bollywood. Um, some dysfunctional relationships that too many people go through in their personal life, how it impacts their decisions, how it impacts them as an individual. Superstars, tantrums, the stakes that are high,
Rivalry.
and everything. Yeah, yeah, rivalry and the competition, and like this, I think the first thing that comes to your mind as soon as you watch the trailer Showtime is drama and entertainment. So yeah, Showtime is definitely a take on industry में क्या होता है, and it's definitely a fresh take and something that will definitely entertain our audiences as well as keeping them engaging throughout the plot. And yeah, we have like a beautiful ensemble.
Many questions about the casting, but the show has this very authentic quality to it. Not just the setting, but also the characters. It's a show in which you play, of course, a critic in the beginning of the show, and your reviews affects a filmmaker that's played by Emraan Hashmi, who's a film director. How did you prepare for the role, and whose reviews you watched while preparing for the critic part?
I honestly have grown up watching Anupama ma'am, Rajeev Khandelwal, and I've loved watching, roundtables and those chats. So yeah, like a mix of everything, like a mix of all the senior journalists that we have. Like I said, I didn't really have a particular person in mind because Mahika is slightly a lot too opinionated and lot too honest, and her honesty doesn't really work in her favor. So yeah, like just having these people in my mind.
Now, we saw this transformation of Mahika with the journalist in the initial parts of the show, and then she became this powerful studio head hobnobbing with who's who of Bollywood. While making the show, did you ask show's producer which are the scenes that were inspired by real incidents?
Um,
Or did they tell you?
I think as far as the writing is concerned, पहले तो मतलब because ये conversation हमने करी थी before, I think when we were, the show is
Preparing.
not yeah, when we were preparing, the show is not made in order to get those punchlines and probably talk about, or maybe like just talk about that particular one scene. I think it's a part of it. Like बहुत सारे लोग, a lot many people are thinking that a show is only based on nepotism or probably कि खुलासे करने हैं. No, I think it's a premise which is different, which is it talks about this different dichotomic relationships, dysfunctional relationships. So I don't think मैंने इतना पूछा, but yeah, there were some instances where there was a lot for me to relate to. Like, for instance, when female actors or when newcomers are probably made to feel unheard. So I would just look at my director and I would be like, I have gone through, some of the same, similar things. So I I don't think मेरा उतना discussion हुआ in terms of where is this whole thing coming from, because we're making a show which is about, it's a film in a film. It's a
Yeah,
show based on, yeah. So, there was so much to relate to. Like, for instance, actors getting replaced to, like you said, critiques, film reviews getting slightly too personal. There was so much. And I think because I was on the producer's chair as Mahika, there was so much for me to understand that, there are some decisions taken which are not at all personal, but they're taken for the sake of it, for the sake of business, because at the end of the day, it's a business module.
but what about that scene in which Rajeev Khandelwal's character is trying tricks in order to get the film's heroines replaced, and he
Hmm.
don't say
Hmm.
that he actually want producer to replace.
I'm guessing now that the show is based on, Bollywood, we do hear about, and I have also uh, experienced it myself, where I have reached to the last leg of auditions, and you do get replaced for various reasons. So yeah, I don't really know if it's based on a particular instance, but it does happen, and that's what we have tried to indicate in the show itself.
But then, you are an experienced actor. Your character also goes through this transformation, like I said. What was your motivation for this role? Was there a documentary that you were watching? Were you watching shows like Famous in Love, Entourage, Luck by Chance, Jubilee, or were you listening to in some audio while working on the show that kept you motivated?
Um, so I think some of the inspiration also came from my own journey. I've not had an easy journey.
I know.
Um, and yeah, obviously there are things that you pick up from the content that you watch. जैसे आपने Jubilee कहाँ, Succession कहाँ, Entourage कहाँ, because somewhere I think the palette, the foundation could be different, but the palette is similar. But I think I did take inspiration from my own journey, because Mahika, if you look at her character, she's someone who's self-made, but at the same time, she's unaware of the fact that she is also a product of nepotism. How do you deal with a person like that, who was not prepared for the challenges or the obstacles that that the life will throw at her? But how do you deal with that? So I think I did take a little bit of an inspiration from my own journey, and my directors did help me. They helped me through the whole process. So there was no particular one thing that I stuck to, but the writing is so beautiful, and I think good writing helps you with your prep. क्योंकि आप जितना script पढ़ते हो, and the more you read, the more discoveries you have from a good writing. So I think the script is, yeah, to answer your question, my own journey, and also staying as close to the script as possible.
So, what feedback did Karan Johar give after watching the show?
He gave me a big hug, and he said that you're good. And I'm so thankful to him and my directors and my writers, because dharma or dharmatic is targeted so much in the name of nepotism, or they only give chances to the insiders or privileged kids. But sir, look at our cast. Look at our cast. There's Muni, there's Rajeev Khandelwal, there's
You,
Vishal Vashish. There's so many people, including my directors, who probably not come from a privileged background. And yeah, I mean, it does have an interesting take at it, because Dharmatic takes it's a show which is probably based on nepotism. So yeah, it does give everybody an exciting I say exciting thing to know about. But I think um I'm just so thankful, because we only want to hear what we want to hear, right? But it's him and it's the company who gave us a chance to be a part of such a strong, yet powerful, yet you know, impactful kind of a show. So yeah, I think I only feel grateful, and I'm happy that I happen to be a part of such an ensemble.
so let's talk about some fun parts, some inspirations from the show, which viewers actually, I think by now have guessed. Do you think Rajeev Khandelwal's character is inspired by Salman Khan?
I don't know. That's for the audience to figure. I'm not gonna say anything.
Is the role that is played by Moni Rai, do you think it's inspired by Helen?
I think it's inspired by a bunch of similar journeys. Let me just put it that way. I don't think any of these characters are based on a particular superstar or a particular journey. It's an amalgamation of conversations, instances. Yeah.
Did you ask the
It's not.
maker who was that actor whose personal astrologer was present during the script narrations? Do you think
Hmm.
it's inspired by one of the superstars' life also?
Sir, so ये तो आप बताओगे ना मुझे. I'm sure you have been here for the longest time. I think you would know if there are such instances because I don't know. I'm guessing. Maybe there are astrologers, maybe they're not. And I think it's nice though to leave this to the audience for them to figure out कि ये वाकई में ऐसा होता है. To leave the mystique as it is.
होता था, but
See,
so
see now you tell me ऐसा होता भी है या नहीं.
in the show we see actors who are unwilling to sign a film. Did you ask the creators about what kind of excuses generally actors come up with when they don't want to do a film?
I mean, to to give you an answer based on my experiences or the things that I've heard about, because I've not had such discussions with, with my directors in particular of this instances. But yeah, I mean, there are some projects that you may not want to be a part of, and probably they're not as substantial as you'd want to want them to be. And excuses, so sir, मैं आपको बताती हूँ. Actors don't have to give any excuses anymore. We have a huge management team, so they do the drill for us. So dates नहीं है या uh,
ये रोल मैं कर चुका हूँ पहले इस टाइप का.
yeah, like I've done something. Yes, exactly. Huh? Yeah, they're the usual. Or maybe if at all it's a slippery slope, then the management takes over.
But
I'm guessing.
what if the producers is adamant say कि I'll make changes for you?
So I think it's for, I mean, to each their own and how they go about, a certain, if अगर नहीं कर, like, I don't really know. I think I can probably answer this question if I have been put into a certain situation. Yeah.
Paid a studio head, I thought you probably by now have an idea when actor
No, but
is.
right now I think I'm answering as Mahima and not as
You can be
Mahika.
Maika and you can bring Maika and say that.
Yeah, I mean a mix of these reasons, right? कि dates नहीं है या फिर I think I deserve something better, or I think I'm not too comfortable. There are a bunch of reasons to sir मतलब बहुत सारे आ ही जाते हैं.
Were you nervous while shooting with the senior actors like Nasiruddin Shah and Imran Hashmi?
First of all, I consider myself really fortunate that at I still look at this as the beginning of my career. I got to share screen space with these. I mean, I look at Nasir sir as the institution of acting. He's a legend. And I got that one day to spend with him, and we were doing that extensive scene. You know what scene I'm talking about. And I made sure कि मैं scene के बीच में उनसे 1000 सवाल पूछूं, because I was like, I am one of those rare people, lucky people who's getting to like work with such a stalwart. So that was really, I'm gonna actually tell you one instance. I met Nasir sir. हम scene मिला है हमें, and we didn't have much time to prepare. कट्टू हमें बोलते हैं set पे आई. And Nasir sir आते हैं. Nasir sir, I'm sure, मतलब discipline, and they, the entire set is, it's pin drop silence. वो set पे आए, and I was so overwhelmed that I just broke down. I don't know what happened to me. Maybe it's the aura, or I was too overwhelmed. I just broke down. But to answer the second part of your question, sir, action और cut के बीच में ना, I know आपको लगेगा कि I'm trying to be slightly arrogant here, but मुझे when I'm in my character, I don't get intimidated with anybody around. I think it's TV that has prepared me to switch on and switch off. Off camera, I will probably get nervous and intimidated because there's such talented, like, there's so much to learn from them. Speaking of Emraan sir, there's this thing about secure actors. They're not insecure. They are, and because our teams are so like competitive and we're like pitted against each other,
Yeah.
there was a brilliant give and take that we had, and it was something which was pretty organic, something क्योंकि मैं इन सारे कलाकारों से सेट पे पहली बार मिली थी. So not that we had enough chances to do readings, and even Vijay sir for that matter. Oh my God, like the moment he walked on set, मेरे दिमाग में कबाब बिरयानी चल रहा था. But he's such a fun person to interact with, and when you sit down and have conversations with, although we couldn't have many with, Imran sir, Vijay sir, Nasir sir for that matter, आपको लगता है कि there's much more to them than their profession. They're so well read. They're so eloquent. Um, that, yeah, and the fact that all three of them knew their lines by heart, they were so thorough with their lines, and it's actually it's so much for me to learn from, because they didn't take their successes for granted. They still work hard, and so I had a blast. I had a blast. I didn't want the show to come to an end because I wanted to be with them and work with them so much more. But I didn't get intimidated when I was being Mahika.
But then, uh, can we expect season two of Showtime?
Sorry?
Is the
I
season two
think I
also in
think
the
I
making?
think that's in the hands of audiences, no? If inshallah अगर हमें ऐसा response मिला, so why not? I can't go back to the producer's chair and continue the drill. But I think that's for our audiences to decide. And the show is out on Disney Plus Hotstar. Just plugging it in the interview. Please go watch it, and I hope you enjoy. And I'm sure you will.
Mahima, which scenes you had most fun shooting? Like, were there scenes which you find yourself a bit nervous because you felt it was very long, or did you find them challenging? Was there a scene?
There were a couple of scenes, but I'm just going to pluck a few. There was a scene where she is, don't want to give too much away, but there's a scene where she is in her apartment on the 21st, 22nd floor, whatever it is, and she's looking at the world from her apartment and she feels lonely. And मुझे एक्चुअली मैं महेश भट्ट सर से एक बार मिली थी और उन्होंने मुझे कहा था, जो मैंने इस सीन में यूज करा, that's the kind of inspiration that I took from my conversation with him, that he said, listen, it's going to be very lonely up there. Just make sure you don't lose your innocence. Cut to, I was playing this, we were doing this scene and it was just me, and she's obviously devastated, and like the world has crashed, and she just looking around, and there's loneliness, there's this darkness, and she's feeling all the more broken, and she is thinking कि जो भी मैंने the opportunities or the responsibility and everything that I took up, was it even worth it? Did I lose myself in the whole process? So life came to full circle in that particular moment, and that was one of the scenes that even when I think about it, I get goosebumps. And we did a bunch of challenging scenes with and one scene that I absolutely enjoyed thoroughly with Emraan sir, which was where the role reverses. You know what I'm talking about? Where the role reverses and she's trying to up her game and be although it's all facade, but that, yeah, it was really, really nice to do that.
The show talks about nepotism, and you and Rajeev Khandelwal are playing key characters along with Imran, Hashmi, and you and Rajeev Khandelwal are both outsiders.
Hmm.
Uh, and do you think the
Hmm.
world will have a better understanding of the working of the film industry, and it will give an appropriate answer to the whole outsider versus insider debate? Do you think?
आई थिंक इतनी हमने बात कर लिया ना उसके बारे में कि मतलब उसका शायद वजूद खत्म हो गया है. बिकॉज मुझे खुद को लगता है कि नेपोटिज्म
Yeah.
word is overrated. It exists. It exists, and I think something that probably I wasn't prepared for, but my transition happened too off lately to also understand that yes, there are insiders and probably there are privileged people who are going to get their first, probably first two three projects, But uske baad, the more interesting conversations is question is, are there filmmakers who are ready to bet on an outsider? And I think there are, thanks to OTT, because it's so. मुझे लगता है कि if you're talented and if you are really ready to work hard, it might take a few years. It's taken me 14 years to be where I am today. Yeah, I started off when I was
Yes.
9, 10. I'm
Same.
24 right now. मुझे लगता है कि it's not impossible anymore, and we have enough examples to prove that. Yes, time लगता है, but at the end of the day, it's the audience who makes people, or be it an insider or outsider, who they want to watch. And yeah, I strongly feel talent triumphs over anything and everything. That's the kind of belief that I have.
And finally, Mahima, these are the lines from the title track of the film Luck by Chance, which says, "Chune hain tare ise, chahiye sare ise." Is this the dream you saw when you started your film journey?
Uh, Sir, I always wanted to be a part of the 70 mm. Like, बचपन से ही वो एक सपना था. Although my journey started off with the intention of making two ends meet. So A, it was money, which was the need at that point of time. But so I really feel the most alive and the most happy on a set. Like I feel so liberated when I'm playing these different characters. मुझे लगता है कि when you're an actor ना, it's such a blessing to be an actor because not only you are living different lives, but you're also leaving a legacy behind. It's so beautiful कि it's मैं अपने आप को बहुत लकी मानती हूँ, and I also, yeah, of course, बहुत कुछ करना है, and I want to be the लंबी रेस का घोड़ा. You know, things are gonna take time. I'm ready to prove myself. I'm ready to work twice as hard. So yeah.
But now you're part of a big league. Many thanks for taking time out and talking to us. Wishing
Thank
you
you, sir.
blockbuster innings ahead. You're a shining star of Showtime. Wishing you many success in future. Thank you so much for
Thank
talking
you,
to
sir.
me.
Thank you. Thank you.